Hello, everyone. Welcome to Campfire Stories, Episode 3. Today we have a very special guest, Nelson, with us today.
Thank you guys for the invitation. I really appreciate it.
Yeah. So to start off, we want to talk a little bit about your background with Bitcamp, how you associate with it. So how did you get started with Bitcamp?
Well, actually, I don't even remember, and I don't do anything for Bitcamp, to be honest with you. You see, it's actually the students that take care of it. My involvement is zero, but it's good because this is a student run. I think that's the way it should be.
Yeah.
And we should provide support, but I'll tell you something, it's zero on my part. I'm just glad that it takes place. I think it has been like 10 or 9 years.
Mm-hmm. 9 years, yeah.
Yeah, that's it. And I'm glad because I think many people, the experience that students get from it, the students enjoy that.
Yeah.
After 9 years, that means something right is being done there. So
Yeah.
More power for you guys, you know what I mean? And it's not only one. There are groups like, for example, there's the AWC that sometimes contact me, Nelson, can you go for the casino night, let's say, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm like, hey, look, 2 hours there, why not, If it helps them, why not?
I actually, I think I took a picture with you at casino night, and I don't know if you remember, but
Absolutely not. Because look, man, she's like, sometimes people wave at me on campus. I'm like, yay! I don't know who you are, but thank you for the money. You pay for the class. For real? Oh my God. Maybe even the same shirt.
This was when you were doing the the roulette table.
No, it's actually the money wheel.
The money wheel.
So speaking of that, we want to know a little bit about your background as how you got into that lecturer role.
Okay, so I'm from Puerto Rico and I came here to do grad school. After my master's, I took this lecturer position because I wasn't sure what to do next. So I wasn't sure, should I return back to Puerto Rico? Should I go to industry? So I took this. I never planned to be a lecturer. So I took this as a temporary thing while I was deciding what to do next, but that turned out to be 25 years.
Yeah.
So now I'm talking about retirement. You know what I mean?
So what made you continue for 25 years? That's a long time.
Well, I mean, I like what I do,
Yeah.
okay? But the real world out there, in my view, is too stressful for me.
Yeah.
You have to produce. You can earn a lot of money,
Oh, yeah.
okay? But for me, and I think for always the advice I give anyone, you have to enjoy life. Life is not just about money. You have to be doing something. There is always in any job something you hate. That's unavoidable. But you get to enjoy it somehow.
Mm-hmm.
So you cannot be doing a job that pays well, but you're miserable. What's the point then?
Yeah.
And in the real world, I cannot say every job is stressful, but I know many of them are. You need to meet some deadlines, you know what I mean? Especially what we do computer programming, you have to find the bug.
Yeah.
You see, if I'm designing a project, I have public tests, release tests, you know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
Well, if I'm not passing the release test, well, no, that's not going to be a release test in the project. You know what I mean? But I give it 15 minutes. Cannot solve it. Next. You cannot do that in the real world.
Right.
Here in Fantasyland, we can do that.
Yeah.
And life is too short,
Yeah.
You have to basically try to do something you enjoy, and that's it, So. Of course, if I get the lottery tomorrow.
Well,
No.
You're taking a vacation to Puerto Rico. That's where it's...
No, I'm going to take a permanent vacation. You will not, me and my accent, we're going to take a plane together. We're going to live here,
I guess going off of that...
Of the lottery?
No.
I want to go. Where does that go?
I guess away from the money in the lottery. If there's a lot of people watching, and they're all trying to. A lot of people here are doing the hackathon for the first time. This is their first experience in doing anything with coding at a practical level. So, what type of projects would you do if you were a hacker?
I would say anything related to the web. I would say pick an API or several of them. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna go a little bit technical.
Right. Yeah.
Anything that you can basically pull data, like using REST APIs.
Right.
There's so much out there. This API for the weather, this API for movies, this API, and then grab that data, massage the data, and present it. So you can do something meaningful.
Yeah.
In a short amount of time. I think the API the API thing, you know. And nowadays, I mean, you need to know the basics like of JavaScript, you know, Node,
Yeah.
so that you can deploy the server and pull the data. And all this stuff is actually relatively easy to learn.
Yeah.
Like, for example, you know, fetch that allows you to get data. Okay, you got the data down. Now it's an array, it's an object. Parse it a little bit, present it, and people will be surprised. So that's what I would say. And I think people go to the Bitcamp, just have fun with it. Don't put the pressure to win. Just see it as, wow, let me see what kind of, what's the experience about. Have fun with it. Okay,
Right.
That's it. That's it.
I think that's a lot of good advice. I know you're involved a lot with like website stuff because you teach 335.
Yeah,
Obviously.
I like I teach this class about the web because I find it interesting. I like to learn it. The best way to pick up something is to teach it.
Yeah.
I derive more pleasure from deploying a website that people can click on.
Yeah.
The only disadvantage is that it's technology that changes very fast.
Yeah.
So as we speak, there are 2 new frameworks. Still, that's the fun part of it because you need to keep up with it.
Yeah.
So, after 25 years of lecturing,
The way you say it is like, wow, what a tragedy or something like that. It's like after 25,
25 years?
It's like if I'm being at a post watching people pass by.
I'm sure
okay,
there are
yeah.
like very memorable student experiences you've had, right?
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
They're good and bad, you know.
Yeah, so what are some good ones, and maybe if you want to share some bad ones?
Well, I think it's good to see students go places.
Mm.
You see students that you discuss a while loop, and now they're at Google, making more money than you. You know, and I even last semester actually there was a student in 335 that came to me and said, "Hey Nelson, you know, my mom took a class with you."
Whoa.
Oh yeah. When that happens, you know, it's a happy moment and a depressive moment because you at the same time, oh, yeah, I'm really old. I've been here for a long time. But it's interesting.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That time passes by quickly. Okay. I think the ones that make me, uncomfortable or sad are when students cheat.
Oh.
Yeah.
You see, when you have to handle this, it's difficult because you have to deal with this student one-to-one in person. They get emotional.
Yeah.
It's really tough.
Yeah.
You know, so that's something I don't like. You know, I have unfortunately have had negative experience with students that I have to face them, and even though they recognize the process, I don't think that is not something positive. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, but then on the other hand, I see all these students that go out, come back to recruit people.
Yeah.
They
yeah.
even say, "Hey Nelson, I'm coming to recruit people. You're gonna be around." That's really nice to see. You know. In exams, I have seen solutions that are so beautiful, better than mine. And you're like, wow, this kid, I always remember this recursive solution for a linked list that this kid wrote. And I was like, wow, that's so cool.
I guess going back to like the good and bad students, how does it feel knowing that you have like a 4.9 out of 5 on ratemyprofessor.com? What does that mean to you?
Well, I mean, it's nice to hear it, but I'm very cautious about these things.
Yeah.
I don't pay too much attention to that.
Right.
Because in the same way, I can show you evaluations that students write that are negative.
Right. Obviously.
And I tell you, when you read that, you have to be objective. You say, okay, the point this student has is valid or not, but still, you don't like to hear the negativism. So it's good, but I don't pay too much attention to that. What I learned is that try to do the best you can. There is always room for improvement. Always listen. The negative part and the positive.
Yeah.
Because the negative, which we call negative, could be actually a valid point the student is trying to make. And you want to say, what can I learn from this? But we are all humans, you know what I mean? And when you get negative feedback, it also affects you, But you have to kind of say, okay, look at this, but don't pay too much attention. Either the positive or the negative.
Yeah.
So I don't base my work on that. I base my work on, am I having fun?
Yeah.
Is the check still coming?
Would you change anything about the like curriculum with the lower level classes? Like, would you switch the order?
I need this job, so I'm not gonna talk our curriculum is okay. Nope. Beautiful classes, awesome people. No, my boss is Okay, so nope.
Okay. Got it.
To change things up, we have a final very special question. We
Sure.
know that on campus you have a nickname.
Oh, do I?
Yeah, you do have a nickname.
Is it Daddy? Because I always have that. What is the nickname?
Yes, very adjacent to father.
Yes, it's Daddy.
It is Daddy.
Oh, really?
Yes.
I never was. Well, I like to kid about this, but I never knew they call me Daddy. That's
They do. Do
There's-
you know how it came about?
well, it's basically a joke I like to say in class when. I never knew people call me like that in the streets. Well, you find out things. Well, okay, that's fine. Well, have fun, guys. It's just in my class when students, I just to have fun with the students. The student asks me a question, say, "Can I call you son?"
Right.
And then if the student says yes, I say, "You can call me daddy." You see?
Yeah,
You
no.
know, and I can tell you, I can actually. I was able to tell if a student have taken class with me before because they don't fall for it.
Yeah.
I took a student and I said, "Hey, yeah, you can call me son," and the student didn't answer. He was like, "No,
I'm good.
no." And then I pick another student, you know what I mean?
I-
And then he had not taken class with me, and he fell for it. And I was like, "Yeah, he has taken class with me, so that's why."
Yeah, well, thank you. You gave a lot of great advice for our Bitcamp hackers, and it was so interesting to learn about your background and about your nickname.
Oh yeah, that's fine. But my only advice to any computer science students, because people might be listening to this, that something concerns me is that I think in all, at least in the classes that are introductory, you see a lot of fear. Students feel like they're not good enough, because there is always 2 or 3 guys that have done this for a long time. Are you with me?
Yeah.
So as you're listening to these guys, if you feel like that, oh, I don't feel I'm good enough, forget about that stuff. Are you with me? Do your best. Look for help, and you know what? You'll be successful.
Good. Yeah.
Well, thank you for the invitation, guys. Anytime, okay? So, I hope everything goes well.
Great.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming.
Yeah.
Take care, guys.
Bye.
Yeah, bye.
Does that answer your question? I forgot your name. May. I remember.
Like the month.
Yeah,
May,
May,
like the
and Amrit. And then our third friend is?
Amber.
Amber. Okay,
Amber the
very-
Rock, May the month. Amber is Amrit.
Amber is a rock?
Amber is a rock, isn't it? Is
Yeah,
it
it's
mineral
like a
stone?
gem.
I'll Google it after.
Oh,
After,
I thought it was-
after so many years still learning things in English. Hey, guys, don't let the accent fool you.
Can I ask you to tilt your mic a little bit?
Sure. I thought you said like remove the shirt. I was like, what kind of video is this one? Like, look, not now, you know? I'm done with that. No, I'm just kidding. We're gonna talk about segmentation fall. Set that break point for us.